Let me ask you a question then, an honest question.
Yeah.
If Donald Trump raped your mother, would you still vote for him, or would you have a different point of view on it? So for my aunt that is a victim of sexual abuse, somebody like you and 70 million people saw that and decided that that wasn't a deal breaker for you. When Donald Trump nominated Matt Gaetz, a man who had sex with a child, who nominated RFK, who had so many affairs on his wife, that his own wife took her own life. Let's take the policy out of it for a second. What does that say to women in this country that people like you cared more about the price of gas than decency and morality and standing up for women? How do you justify that?
It's not true at all. It's not true at all. What do you talk about all the women that voted for him as well? What about all the women that voted for him as well? What do you say to them?
We're in 92.
What do you say to them, though? What do you say to all the women that voted for them? And he got more women vote this time around than he did the first time. So what does that say?
How many years have we been a republic? 250 years?
Paul, you're breaking up a little bit.
250 years. We've never had a woman president. Tell me why that is when 50% of our population make up of women. Why is that?
We've never had a woman president.
If it's not sexism, if it's not misogyny, why is it?
I don't know, but if we have 50% of the women, I have no idea. I don't know. I mean,
you have no idea.
I have no idea.
It's always a man.
I have no idea. I know that Trump has appointed a ton of women to his cabinet. I know that there's a ton of women, that have potential, but I can't speak to you why the country is not voting for a woman. I can't speak to you on that point. That's not for me to speak to. If you want to ask for me what my opinion is for me personally, that's it. I can speak to that, but I can't speak to you why the entire country hasn't voted for a woman.
I'm asking you, what are you supposed to tell women in this country that are victims of sexual abuse? And this is a fair question. This isn't argumentative.
Right.
Why was that not a deal breaker for you? Why is everything fake news because you don't want to believe it?
Because there's a scale in life. I'm going to tell you my answer. There's a scale in life, and there's some things that you weigh on a scale. And depending on which way that scale tips, depends on which way you vote. So do I agree with some of the things that you say? I agree. I think it's wrong. But are there other factors in my life that I care about possibly more? There could be. So that's just how I weigh it out. It doesn't make one decision, one item doesn't make my vote.
Let me ask you a question then, an honest question. Yeah. If Donald Trump raped your mother, would you still vote for him, or would you have a different point of view on it?
If Donald Trump raped my mother, maybe he'd be my father. Then I'd be lucky.
I think it's a fair question.
I don't know. See, here's the thing.
You don't know?
Let me finish. Hold on. Let me just say something. Okay. So when we're talking about Donald Trump, we're talking about in reference to you. What's her name? Eugene Carroll?
Yeah, Eugene Carroll. Yep.
We're talking about Eugene Carroll.
And the 25 other women that have accused him of sexual assault or rape, including his ex-wife in court documents.
Okay.
Not just Eugene Carroll.
Right. We're talking about Eugene Carroll. Okay. So here's the thing. I don't take anything away from what was done was wrong, et cetera, et cetera. The bottom line is it happened a really, really long time ago, supposedly, right? Supposedly. I don't know. I wasn't in the room. You weren't in the room. They went by what one person said. We weren't there, right? All I know is that, and people, yes, they have said certain things, but we weren't there. Like, this isn't, it wasn't something I witnessed.
Would you allow Bill Cosby to watch your kids? Because we weren't there when Bill Cosby raped all those women, and that happened many years ago. So would that same standard be used for somebody like a Bill Cosby who raped women many, many years ago? And Brett, we weren't there.
Would I let him watch my kids?
Yeah. Would you trust somebody like Bill Cosby?
That's a different story.
You think Bill Cosby would be a good president? All the women that he raped, it did happen years ago, like you said, and we weren't there. So if it happened decades ago and we weren't there, that's what you're saying. I'm not trying to gang up on you here, Brett.
But he was found liable in a court of law with lawyers, with a jury, with evidence. So because it happened to Jean Carroll, you're okay with it.
No, I'm not okay with it. Listen, there's been plenty of times when we can all attest to this that people have been found guilty in a court of law, and it hasn't been true. So, that's happened many, many, many times.
Oh, my God.
Many times.